Now we will move to the next step, that is nothing but identify null values. Okay, is there any null values are there in my data or not? How to check that one? For example, if I say name of the dataset dot is null, if I use is it a null values, it gives true or false, right? It gives true or false. Like wherever it is a null value we have, it gives true, otherwise it will give it in a false. So I don't want to just take it in a that way. Okay, I just want to take it like a data set. I just want to take that each of the column name. Okay, is it a null value? If it is a null value, I just want to do a sum of it. Okay, I just want to sum of it, so I said sum. Okay, sum. So that what will happen, that whichever the column has null values, it will take a total and it given, right? Id doesn't have any null value, so 0. But lot frontage has a null value, it has a pi 259 null values we have. Similarly, there may be others also we have. Okay, but it is not showing, right? So then I just want to check, I just want to say that okay, is null values, then if it is greater than 1 or 0, right? If it is greater than 0, I just want to check that. If it is equal to 0, there is no meaning, right? It is not having a null value, so I check. Okay, false true we are getting, false true, like this we are getting. So I'm not getting that value, right? So what I will do, I will create one list of the item. Okay, I would like to create one list of the item. Okay, wherever the null values are there I need to take those column name. We already taken a name of the column, name of the columns we have taken, name of the columns. Okay, each column I will take and I will calculate that is there any null values. If there is any null values, then I say append that column to that particular null column. Okay, I will show you that how conventionally we can do. I use a one empty one null, uh, we say picture. Okay, null picture is equal to, null picture is equal to empty, one empty list I have created. Now I take a for loop, I say picture. Okay, in name columns, in that name of the columns, one by one we take column name, that is called as a picture. Then what we will do, if in the data set, okay, data set with that picture. Okay, data set, the name of the data set, the picture, that particular column, if that particular column, I just using this particular condition, I'm checking dot is null, is null. In case if it is a null, then how much it is there, sum I will dot sum, total it. In case the total is greater than 0, if it is true, okay, greater than 0, then what we need to do, we need to append that feature to null feature. So null feature dot append that feature. Okay, that particular column to be appended. This is the one thing I have been written. Then I will come out from the for loop and I will try to print that null feature list. You can see all the null feature list we have been created by using this condition. Okay, this is a simple for loop and if condition we are appending. Remember what I have been said, in case, okay, you have null feature with a for, we are using a for loop, then using a if condition and you are appending, we can use a list comprehension to create a new list. From that we can use a new list comprehension. So I say, I give new thing like null columns. Okay, I will create a new future null columns is equal to, I say future, okay, for loop I will call future for future in name columns, okay, from that column name, okay, future from that column name, if I just say that data set with that feature from the for loop what you have been taken, okay, that particular feature dot is null, and we'll take sum of that, okay. In case if it is greater than 0, then if that condition is satisfied, then the feature to be added here. So that is what I am doing. I will execute. Okay, now if I try null columns, the same column you will get, same answer you will get. You can check the length of null columns, also 19. The length of this null features we used for loop and all this together, also 19, means the same thing. Instead of writing these many lines of codes, okay, we have been created by using one single line of code that is called as a least comprehension. Okay, these are the 19 columns which has a null values, right? Out of them 19 columns, I just want to check by using those null columns how the data is. I can say data set, okay, with column is a null columns. Okay, for null columns, I would like to check the data set. You can see these are the null columns we have. Okay, nan, that is a null value. So these are the null columns we have. So this is the one way of identifying a null column. You can observe here in some of the columns are a numeric float, some of them are a object, some of them are maybe a integer, right? We can check that what kind of columns we have by using a same code. I'm writing again and again for your understanding. Info. So some of them are object, some of them are in a float. Okay, majorly float and object we have. Right. So now I need to divide this column into null values into two category. One is a object will be separate like qualitative it is. We already learned this in a statistic like qualitative and quantitative, which is in a number and float. Call it as a quantitative. So we'll separate them out of this 19 column. How many are in a coming under a object, how many are coming under a float, we will do that. So I say null object, I can say it as a qualitative. Okay, qualitative. How can we use, we can write as this one only, feature for feature list comprehension in, for feature in, I will not be going through all the columns, just I am finding that in a list of the column which is called as the null columns, from that I am separating. So I say null columns, null columns, if if how can I identify this column is a object, okay, qualitative, we can say data set, okay, with feature, data set with that feature dot that particular column, I say d type, data type, if it is equal to object, capital O, okay, object is nothing but capital O, equal to capital O, equal to always it will be double equal to, right, in our Python. So equal to capital O, not 0. Sometimes you use 0, it's wrong. Okay, capital O, then I need to separate them into a feature. So we'll take, now if I check null qualitative, these are the null qualitative. How many are there? I can just say length of null qualitative. It gives 16 columns which are belongs to out of 19. 16 are column belongs to the qualitative columns. Right? 16 columns belongs to the qualitative. Now I can separate qualitative. I have separated. Now I can separate them. Other columns will be the quantitative columns. So I can say null quanti. Okay, null quantitative. Okay, or you can just say null quanti equal to same list comprehension will be used. Feature in null columns will take one by one feature. If that feature, the selected feature, not in they already we have been separated here now in that null quantitative. If it is not in a null quantitative, such column I would like to take it out. Now we can see null quantitative column. There are three columns which are belongs to the null quantitative. That is nothing but lot frontage, mass one area, and garage built area. We can check that like um, data set. I say data set. That is the name of the data set I have taken. Then null quantitative. These are the columns we have, right? So these are the null values we have, and I just want to check that each column wise how many null values we have. We can check that in a null uh, columns we have, in that how many null values we have in each column. For that also we can use a for loop, like for feature in null a feature. Okay, from the null feature one by one we will take. In that what we can do, from the null feature or null columns, both the name we have given, you can see null columns also you can take. No need to get confused. Now what I will do, for each feature data set, okay, I just want to check how many null values are there, right? So I just want to print that, right? So I will print that feature first, comma. After printing that feature, what next I need to print? I need to print how many null values it has, right? Feature, I say one quotation. I mean, I say feature has. Okay. Then I will give one space here before one space. Then I will give a comma, like the column name has these many null values, right? So I can give that how to calculate a null values. We know that data set with that feature, okay, dot is null we need to use to check is it a null or not. Is null, then dot we need to check the how many are there, right? So sum we will take. Then what to be written, I say feature has these many null values, like this. See, if I execute, we'll get, means just I have been called one by one column name, and those column name I have period and calculated the null values, and I have been returned that. Okay, we can have like this also. Okay, null values. Okay, so far what we have done, we have identified the null values. Then we have been checked that which column has a like quantitative columns which are having null values, and qualitative columns which are having null values we have been calculated. Then we have been done with how many null values we have. All these things we have done. In the coming session I will show that like how to treat these null values. Okay, there is a data engineering type, like feature engineering section, like how to replace these null values, what are the different technique we can use to replace the null values, we will check in a coming session.